Happy fall and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm making a market tote for fall, and I have this beautiful tapestry fall material. I made 2 pillows out of it, and I had enough to make me a rather large tote. So the measurements for this tote are, with that beautiful print, I'm going to be making this 22 inches wide and 44 inches long. I have folded this in half. I've cut out 2 handles that are 36 inches long because I want this to be a shoulder bag, and 4 inches across. And I have a lining that I have cut 22 inches wide and 46 inches long because I want a nice 2-inch top so I can fold that over the bag, and I'll show you that later in the video. So we're going to get this cut, and we're going to cut some corners. I made a 2-inch square pattern, and I cut out both bottom pieces right on the fold there of the outer part of the bag and in the inside of the bag, and we're going to be folding that to make a bottom for our tote. Now I also cut out some heavyweight iron-on interfacing to put on the back of my tote. That's just going to make it nice and stiff. And now we're going to go over to the sewing machine and sew straight down both sides of the tote. Then once that is done, I am going to clip in place the bottom. Did you see how I folded that to create a bottom? I'm going to pin this in place, open up that side seam line, and I did this for both sides of the tote and also for both sides of the lining. Now I'm going to take this over to the machine and straight stitch across that bottom line using a 5/8 inch seam line. And I did this also with the lining material and created that nice bottom. Now the next step is I took the 2 side panels and I wanted to run a seam line from the top to the bottom just to give it a little bit of depth and make it nice and sturdy. So I'm pinning 2 inches from that seam line. I measured and I pinned in place. Then using a top stitch, I went straight down each side. So that was 4 seam lines down the sides, and you'll see that later in the video. It just adds some dimension and just finishes it off nicely. And I also, before I sewed the sides up, I did add a front pocket to my tote. I did not film that, but I did just attach out of the same fabric a front pocket. You could certainly leave that off. So we're going to go ahead and sew down the sides, and here is what the tote looks like. It's nice and stiff from that interfacing. And now we're going to, with wrong sides together, tuck the lining inside of the tote, matching the seam side allowances. So on both sides of the seams, match those and pin them in place. And push your tote bag all the way down, all the points down. And we're going to fold that top edge over 1 inch and then pin that in place. And I will go around and top stitch that. And there it is, pinned in place. I went back and measured, made sure it was 1 inch all the way around. And we're going to do a nice top stitch across there. And there is the front pocket that I added at the beginning. Now inside I have a little piece of wood cut. My husband measured, cut me a piece of wood. I love for a bottom to have a nice sturdy piece of wood in it. Now here are my handles. I am folding them in half. I'm going to sew up both ends and across the bottom, leaving about a 4-inch in the middle there to turn. These are going to be nice and stiff, and once they are done, finished sewing, then I will turn it and press it again and top stitch all the way around. Alright, I attached by sewing the straps to the bag. I measured and made sure they were in the right position, pinned them, and then top stitched around. And each side has a nice long handle. And there you have a market tote. Now you can see how I just did a square to attach that, sewed it right to the top of the bag. And that's it. You can make these all kinds of sizes. There is that nice side seam. See how nice that looks and sturdy. I took this with me to the farmer's market and really enjoyed walking around with it. There is the wooden base that my husband cut out of just a real thin piece of wood, and I put that down in the bottom, and that just gives it a nice flat finish. So this worked out great. I took it with me to the mountains. It's such a pretty color, and I really enjoyed using it. All right, let's see what all I could get into my market tote after visiting the farmer's market in Asheville. I picked up some beautiful wooden flowers that I'm going to use in a wreath. They had a really cute homespun rug for $15 in that. I'm going to use that in my Christmas decor with my little fireplace outside. And I picked up a Christmas present for my son, so I can't really tell you what that is, but it is heavy. And I just had some odds and ends. I found some beautiful chicken napkins to go on a rope bowl, and of course my allspice seasoning mix I love to pick up during fall. And anyway, this bag was packed full. It wasn't too heavy. It worked great. So I hope you'll give one of these a try. They're so much fun to do. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and have a blessed day.